All right, let's get to it. Let's get back to it. All right, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Your mama house. All right. So we were here. Let's see. Where exactly were we? Of the sites proposed pursuant here to as we deem necessary or appropriate. We must lease, sublease, or purchase the accepted location within 30 days after signing this agreement. We must approve the terms of any lease, sublease, or purchase contract of the accepted location. And that's another funny thing. Most places will like, as soon as you sign a franchise agreement, you usually have a year to find a lease. But yeah, and maybe I'm getting something wrong here. And you must deliver a copy to us for approval before you sign it, along with the lease addendum attached as Schedule 4. You agree with any lease, sublease, or the accepted location must inform and substance be satisfactory to us. And it must include all of the provisions set forth in Schedule 4. You may not sign a lease, sublease, or purchase contract or any modification thereof without our written approval. Our approval of the accepted location is based upon and made in reliance on information you furnish, representation you make to us with respect to the size, appearance, and other physical characteristics of the accepted location. Photographs of the accepted location and demographic characteristics, traffic patterns, competition from other businesses in the area, and other commercial characteristics, including the purchase price, rental obligation, other lease terms. By the way, for those of you later on, this will be a VOD. This is part 2. Parte dos. All right. So part 2, go check out the other one before you get into this one. All right, you must lease, sublease, blah, blah, blah. Got that one out of the way. Our approval of the accepted location, lease, sublease, or purchase contract, and any information communicated to you regarding the accepted location do not constitute an express or implied representation or warranty of any kind, including but not limited to its fairness or as the suitability of the accepted location for a Bricks Minifigs stores, or as to your ability to comply with the terms of the lease or for any other purpose. Our approval of the accepted location, lease, sublease, or purchase contract indicates only that we believe that the accepted location falls within our criteria as of the time period encompassing the evaluation. We do not by virtue or approve the accepted location, lease, sublease, or purchase contract assume any liability or responsibility to you or to any third parties. You acknowledge that you have the sole responsibility for obtaining the advice of your own professional advisors before you lease, sublease, or purchase the accepted location. Franchisor encourages franchisee to seek independent counsel from a lawyer or business advisor to assist franchisee in negotiating a lease for the franchised business. If a site for your store has not been agreed upon by the parties by the time this agreement is signed, we will approve a site for your store in accordance with the provisions found in the section, and you must sign and comply with the site selection addendum attached. That's crazy. What is up? Resetsu Ronin, my man, my man, my man. Oh, this sounds expensive. It is. Yo, mama. It is expensive. But freaking let me. What's it called? I thought it was weird. Is like they'll force you a location, pretty much. I might be wrong on that. That one, I don't remember seeing this. Obviously, I saw it, but like, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird language to have in there. But again, it's not that expensive, honestly. For now they require like you have to have like specific capital, but it ain't for other franchises. You have to have like 1 to like 6 million. This is a pretty cheap franchise to get into. Like, I'm being fair here. It is pretty cheap to get into. It ain't that crazy. You get an investor, or you make deals. Because that's the other thing. It says contracts are contracts, right? Until they're not. Until they're talked over. Let's say you find deals. All right. Let's say you have your own Lego collection. You have your own displays. You're a carpenter. You make your own stuff. You find you're friends with this particular landlord. You know, like there are situations where people have spent like less than 100 grand, less than 50 grand opening up a franchise. There are those situations. It's very rare, but they're able to fill it up to start. You know, obviously in terms of marketing, that might not go over too well. Because here's the thing: when it comes to marketing, you have to have a great opening, right? You have to have a good grand opening, because that's gonna really set you aside. That's really gonna jumpstart your business. It's gonna get your employees excited, so they're gonna be focused. It's going to get you an understanding of the community, connect with the people who are there, ride or die, because they came to the opening. They're not there just to, shop whenever it's convenient for them. They're like, they might go. Everybody that comes to the opening is usually your highest potential of increased business. Okay, so grand openings are actually pretty important. So that I would say, if you can find a way to make it cheap and then only spend money in marketing, dude, you're gonna be set. You must submit to us in accordance with procedures we periodically establish a complete site proposal form, the site proposal package containing demographics, information, traffic patterns, access, visibility, location, or other toy stores, including other Bricks and Minifig stores, and size, condition, configuration, appearance, and other physical characteristics of the site, and all other information that we reasonably require for each site of Bricks and Minifig stores that you propose to develop and operate, and that you in good faith believe to conform to our then current standard selection criteria for Bricks and Minifig stores. It's a lively crowd. It is. Just spam in the chat if that's what you want to do. I guess, it's all good. Like, the point is to get this information out there, and you guys are the MVPs already. You're the MVPs. You're here. I got a question, Relic. So, like the owner of the property saved your, yeah. So do those two guys still owe you anything? Like, what two guys? Are you talking about Brandon and Josh? Like, we never had a sell. Yo, what is that? You calling me a cow? You the cow. I came here for the free donuts. Yes. Oh, okay. So yeah, technically, in my eyes, they owe me over $200,000, Josh and Brandon, because I came to them, and from all intents and purposes, I was under the impression we were having a sale. I was selling the store to them, and the reason I stayed on as employee is because even after the fact, even after they explained things to me, I was like, all right, I'm going to get in contact with Ammon. And then 3 months down the line, after they took it over and I got the termination letter and everything, I finally got a hold of Ammon, and he was telling me that if I had enough product that equaled more than what I owed them, then, and the termination letter will come out soon. Okay? Even more than what I owe them, and I'll explain it more in detail there, that there could have been an exchange in monetary value. Remember, they fined me $70,000 for not completing the remaining franchise agreement, the remaining few years. And I believe it was 2 or 3 years left on my contract. But yeah, they were supposed to, I was okay. I think I owed them $92,000, and I was like, okay, you can discount that off the sale price. That's no problem. Like, I owe you that money. But the store's worth way more. And like, the reason I owe them that money is because they never accepted my payment by month, and then it's added on from like them allowing me to not pay royalties so I could pump it into marketing, because that's the agreement we came up with. But then they used it against me to put into the termination letter and terminate me, which is obviously scummy. But yeah, I'll explain in more detail when I do the termination letter. I sent it to another YouTuber, so I'm waiting for them to utilize it. I don't know if they utilized it in a stream or a video, and I don't think they've done a video on it yet. But once they utilize it, I'll actually put it out here because I'm trying to help keep the situation alive. You understand? So yeah. Hey, Relic, I'm a member of LUS team. I actually have things we would like to ask you. What is the best way for me to get in contact with? I just sent him an email today. Honestly, you could contact me through Instagram. The colon. So I sent him an email today on the email that he has on his channel. But you can. I'm happy to go on if you guys want to talk. But if any questions, send them to me on Instagram. Okay. A new minifig company. Dude knows his. Thank you. I do know. Call it the last relic minifigs and more, or just call it relics. Boom. But yeah, they technically would owe me more money because the sale never went through. That answers your question, Rezutsu Ronin. Yeah, and Trip BBBB. Thanks for coming back. Sweet. Got back-to-back stream working at sea. Yeah, man. That would rule. It would. Because, man, like my store, I have to put like videos and stuff here for you guys. I have so much footage of my store. My store, I design it in a way where if you had no place to go, you just didn't want to be home, you could go there and hang out. I set up Halo, Xbox, Nintendo Switch for people to play Mario Kart. People could hang out. There was a couch. Eventually, we're going to get a coffee table. It was going to be a spot for, and we achieved it. Sometimes people would just, like, we would have like 30 people show up, and their full intention was just to hang out. And they usually ended up buying something because they were awesome. But yeah, like, we played Dragon Ball Z in there. We would just talk comics. We'd talk movies. And it was like, it was a full business, but the intention was like, you can stay here even after you buy something. You can hang out. Like, we are a community. That was the intention, and we achieved it. If you guys ever get a hold of any of my employees, you can ask them. And like any of them, you could ask them what we did, and it was awesome. So where were we? My bad. I lose my place all the time, as you guys know. You and Toy Bounty Hunter Boys are some of my favorite coverage. Brick by brick. Thank you, boss. Shifty Smooth. Thank you. Do you think I should prank call my local Bricks and Minifigs and tell them they store Legos from Brian, or like go to the front of these stores and be like, screw this company? No. You should not do that at all. Okay? That would take away from the purpose. That would hurt innocent people. Because, again, I was one of the people that invested in Bricks and Minifigs, right? Because got to meet them, and they, whatever people want to believe, but I feel like I was duped. I thought these guys were one thing, and they turned out to be something else, right? So somebody in there, they started that Bricks and Minifigs before they knew about RecklessBen stuff, before they knew these scandals. Like, probably some of you were shopping there before the whole RecklessBen, right? So they're innocent, man. Like, not everybody is a scumbag. All right? Some of these owners, good people. Don't do that. Just be like, hey, you could go in there and tell them your opinion. I hate what's going on with this company, but I'm sorry if you guys are going through problems, because they just wanting to open a business, man, and help the community out. That's all it is. All right. Need more ammo, and they are, yeah, like, it would hurt Ben's case for sure. Because remember, part of the gag order, part of the stuff they are charging him with is that he is actively trying to cause damage to the brand. And if you do that, then you're helping your enemy's case. You understand? You don't want to help the enemy. Our approval of the accepted location, lease, sublease, or purchase contract, and any information communicated to you regarding the accepted location do not constitute an express or implied representation or warranty of any kind, including but not limited to its fairness or as to the suitability of the accepted location for a Bricks and Minifigs store, or as to your ability to comply with the terms of the lease or any other purpose. Our approval of the accepted location, lease, sublease, or purchase contract indicates only that we believe that the accepted location falls within our criteria as of the time period encompassing the evaluation, which is important to understand their criteria. We do not, by virtue of approving the accepted location, lease, sublease, or purchase contract, assume any liability or responsibility to you or to any third parties. You acknowledge that you have the sole responsibility for obtaining the advice of your own professional advisors before you lease, sublease, or purchase the accepted location. Franchisor encourages franchisee to seek independent counsel from a lawyer or business advisor to assist franchisee in negotiating or lease for the franchised business. If a site for your store has not been agreed upon by the parties by the time this agreement is signed, we will approve. Oh, sorry for reading all that all over again. My bad. You must submit in accordance to the procedure we appear establish. Holy crap, am I back on page 11? Oh, I effed up somewhere. Signed by us, exclusive, blah, 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 blah. You want to hurt BAM Corp? Vote with your dollars. Don't be stupid. Exactly. You can support him by not out of 10, but in spirit. Yeah, you can do that. Do whatever you want to do. Deliver a site approved letter to you within 30 days after receive. Okay, we went through that. Lease of accepted. Well, we'll just start here. It's fine. It's fine. Unless the accepted location. Let me just make sure. Let me see. All right, my bad, guys. Losing my place all over the place. wrong. Unless you own the accepted location, you must obtain any necessary lease or sublease for the accepted location, unless we otherwise agree in writing. We will not assist you in the process of obtaining and or negotiating a lease or sublease for the accepted location. In any event, you must obtain our approval of the terms of the lease or sublease, or purchase contract, or any modification thereof for the accepted location before signing the lease or sublease. You agree that any lease or sublease for the accepted location must, in form and substance satisfactory to us, include all the provisions set forth on Schedule 4. Unless otherwise approved by us, you agree to indemnify and hold us and affiliates harmless from any breach of the lease, even though we or one of our affiliates may elect to assume the lease upon your termination. If you, one of your owners, or one of your affiliates at any time owns the accepted location, you must immediately notify us, and we may require that you or this owner or affiliate enter into an agreement with us, irrecordable from granting us the right and opinion in the event of a termination, for whatsoever reason, of the franchise agreement to lease the accepted location at fair market rental rates for the term contemporaneous with the term of the franchise agreement or these accepted location, or to enter into a prime lease with us at fair market rental rates for a term contemporaneous with the term of the franchise agreement for these accepted location, and a sublease with us on the same terms and the same as the prime lease. The prime lease and the sublease referenced in the preceding sentence shall be in the current lease and the sublease forms used by us. If the lease for your store is terminated at no fault or franchisee before the end of the term, you may move your store to another location chosen in accordance with our site evaluation and approval process found in Section 4A. And by the way, guys, I know it is late. And I thank you for the support. I truly do. Oh, by the way, Mev, what reason did they give me for not accepting the payment? They didn't give me any. They never gave me a reason. I just asked, yo, send me a bill. Tell me how much you want me to pay a month. Tell me if you want it all right now. What do you guys need? And they never, all the way until I got the termination letter, they never accepted a monthly payment of the purchase of the store, whatever was remaining, or yeah. So that sucks. They use it against me on a word to word agreement. Because again, I thought I don't have every single recorded phone call, but I thought I was working with cool dudes. I thought I was, and that's the stupid part of me. I thought these guys were my friend, and I screwed up. It's not how business works. But it was different, you know. It wasn't like you have a boss and you're cool with. Like, dude, we hung out and stuff. Like, I thought when we talked, it was what it was. Yeah. And when multiple people tell you, yeah, it's all good, you know, including their accountants, corporate owners, you think it's gonna be good. I'll be streaming with a few people with. Oh, my bad. Is there? That's weird. Okay, hold up. I didn't know there was a copy stream. That is weird, guys. Give me a second. Let me see my channel. Okay. Let me just delete that. If you want to tell everybody to move over now, because I'm about to delete that crap. I don't know how there's a copy stream. That is insane. That is nutty. So I guess I will. How do I delete more actions? Delete forever. Yes, I understand. All right, if you could do me a favor and then go to that copy stream, which is insane. And tell them to come over here. That would be great. Mr. Vape Nerding. To the best of your knowledge, is there a statute of limitations for you to sue BAM for the breach or fraud with your contract? No, there is not a statute of limitations on that. But with anything legal, the longer you let it happen, the less strength your case has. Okay? And I don't have a lawyer right now. I don't have money for a lawyer. There will be things in the future when all this is over that I could tell you about some of to me. But there was one offer that I told them, use it for the money that you are offering, use it for the RecklessBen case. If there's opportunities after that, like put money there. If there's opportunities after that for me, maybe I'll take them. I don't know. But I don't believe in the system. I don't believe in the legal system. I've been burned quite a bit. So yeah, that's just me, man. So like buy bricks and minifigs. You know what I mean? So yeah, time can only tell. You probably saw how Crystal wasn't put on her lease and auto pays that made her insolvent, straight up pattern franchise. Yeah, that was whack, dude. I would be like, I'm not even touching this store until you give me my bank account and everything. That was weird. By the way, did any of you guys see apparently I had 2 streams going, so if any of you guys saw that, inform the others. That was my bad. Let me see if I can. I think it's killed now. My bad. That's weird. Never had that happen to me before. Those 2 weird streams. Relic. I think there's 2 streams. It's going over their 2-hour mark. Oh, no. So okay. The other stream, that was part 1. This is part 2. Okay. I see a VOD and a current stream. Still? What is this? Sorcery? F you, StreamYards. How can you do this to me, man? Okay, the other one's deleted. So it would be this stream that's alive and well. Yeah. Hey, man, I missed 20 minutes because YouTube said the stream was taken down. Thanks for explaining. Sorry, like I don't freaking know what happened. I don't know how there was 2 streams going. Man, there's some corporate oversight here. They're screwing me over. Allegedly. I'm messing. No, don't screw me, guys, please. Yeah. Churning term. Yeah, learn something new every day. Oh, you'll learn so much more when you get screwed. Oh, thanks, Aaron. You didn't miss much. Apparently, to Aaron, my stream sucks. Thanks, dude. F me. All right. Anyways, I'll do better. I'll do better. Where were we? Such plans for specifications. We would expect that a Bricks and Minifigs business location would need construction improvements. Costs may vary widely depending on such factors as property location, the condition of the property, and the extent of alterations required for the property. Franchise shall be responsible for obtaining all zoning classifications, health, sanitation. Man, freaking permits suck. Clearances, permits, and certifications which may be required by state or local laws. Ordinances or regulation or which may necessarily or advisable owing to any restrictive covenants relating to franchisee location. By the way, the worst permits to get is the county permits. Those are annoying. Those you think they're smaller, like than the state permits, but that they'll be quicker. But no, they take forever. You have to be on them 24/7. After having obtained such approvals and clearness, franchisee shall submit to franchisor for franchisor's approval final plans for construction based on the preliminary plans and specifications. Once approved by franchisor, such final plans shall not thereafter be changed or modified without the prior written permission of franchisor. Any such change made without franchisor's prior written permission shall constitute a material default under this agreement, and franchisor may withhold its authorization to open the store until the unauthorized change is rectified or reversed to franchisor's reasonable satisfaction. Franchisee shall comply with all federal, state, and local laws and codes and regulations, including without limitation and the applicable provisions of the ADA regarding the construction, design, and operation of the store. If franchisee receives any complaint, claims, or other notice alleging a failure to comply with the ADA or other law or regulation related to health or safety, franchisee agrees that it shall provide franchisor with a copy of such notice within 5 days after receipt thereof. Overly unlucky. Welcome to the stream. Quick recap. What have you gone over, please? Well, forgive me if I don't remember in the first stream. We gone over the difference. Like the first paragraph, it says that franchisees are able to have consignments, but the manual says that we do not practice such practices. Okay. Again, I've said that contracts are like the art of war. Something will contradict the other depending on the situation. So then it all comes down to negotiating and informing the corporate, the overlords, the emperors, the slavers. That's who you have to inform to make sure it's viable. And then we went over some of the laws. We went over how I got screwed, how I was almost put $500,000 in debt, how I tried twice to sue Bricks and Minifigs, and twice they were able to get out of it. First time was on me because I ran out of money. And again, lawyers don't speak any other language than green. Caught me that I need to make my dog an LLC so she gets sued instead of me. Dude, that's... here's one piece of advice. If you can actually have a viable business, whatever it is, an LLC, buy your cars and stuff through an LLC. There's some benefits to you. If again, talk to a lawyer if it helps with your business. There's big purchases you could buy with an LLC that, man, make your life so much easier. Facts, cops belong to the highest bidder, aka the guy with 10 million power on raid Shadow Legends. Yes, sir. Counting corporate, the Salem location was under their fourth franchisee when JJ and BB, when Blowjob and Job Blow took over, though we now know Job Blow was never an owner. Yeah. I don't buy a car through business because of liability to my business, and that's your business. Let's see. Shall comply with federal, state, local law, blah, blah, blah. Seat thereof. Franchisee shall construct, furnish, and okay, we did that. Writing in franchisor operation manual, because that there again, there's operation manual versus the contract. There's a lot of things in the operation manual that will kind of go against what the contract actually states, and then consignment can be interpreted in multiple ways. But again, what conversations did Crystal have with corporate? What other conversations did Brian have with corporate? What other conversations did Ben have with corporate that none of us have seen? That's important to figure out. That is important to see. All right. And how did they respond? From what we know, all of it was hostile. Franchisee shall not open the store until franchisor has determined that all construction has been substantially completed and that such construction conforms to franchisor's standards, including but not limited to materials, quality of work. But by the way, they don't look over any of this stuff. Furnishing, fixtures, signage, decor, paint, and franchisor has given franchisees written approval to open. I think when they hit the 100 store mark, maybe before, the owners would go out to the grand opening. But I know a lot of grand openings, the owners, corporate wasn't. They would send somebody from corporate, but the owners weren't there. Okay, it's yeah, and from what I know, a lot of people like they didn't. You could find whatever cases you want. You could build it how you want, even though it says here. But that's what was going on. From what I hear about other locations, which approval shall not be unreasonably withheld. Like, because regardless, they have to come and check it out. What they say, yeah. Unreasonably withheld. Franchisor's approval to open the store does waiver of franchisor's rights to require franchisee to conform the store to the franchisor standards. Said in Echo-based videos, you didn't do consignments. Did you turn them all down, or was there one or two you thought was worth the sale? There is no consignment in this life that I think would be worth it. Like, even with a car, even if I had $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 car, I'm either selling it on my own, and if I don't have the skills to sell it, I'm turning it over. I'm not gonna wait for money to come in. I'm not gonna wait for a business to, because that's the other thing. What if a business fails, files bankruptcy? What if something happens to the car on a test drive, and then my insurance doesn't want to cover it? And then their insurance is fighting my insurance, and my insurance is fighting the guy who crashed it. But then the insurance of the dealership is fighting them, and then they're fighting me, and it's gonna take me what, like 6, 7 years? I know somebody. They had a franchise, not Bricks and Minifigs, and a crazy dude. This was around 6 years ago. A crazy dude was having mental issues. There was a cell phone tower right next to his place of business, and then blew himself up with a kaboom, and it affected his business. He no longer had a business. All right. It's been 6 years. Still hasn't gotten paid, and it's millions of dollars. Insurance still hasn't paid the guy. And he's just waiting. He's just waiting for one of the insurance companies to cave, whether it's the locations, the mall, his business, his insurance. Like, they're fighting because they don't want to pay. You think insurance covers you? Insurance companies don't want to pay you, man. They don't want to pay. So, yeah, I can't go into too many details because I think it might. It was a very open story, like people knew about it, so I don't want to give too many details, but Essentially, I'll give you the details of this one guy. He went to a radio tower to like infiltrate it and like spew out his thoughts of what he thought about the government and stuff like that. Blew up. He had a kaboom in the car, and that kaboom was a lot bigger than what he expected. Obviously, he's no longer kabooming, and it blew up multiple businesses that were around him. Okay? His intention was to go kaboom and to destroy this satellite tower. But he went kaboom boom, and it went to a bunch of other places. And now people are still fighting 6 years later insurance. It's a kaboom. That's it. That's all I could say. Yeah. Again, people don't want to pay, even if that is their job. You must purchase or lease all required furnishings, fixtures, equipment, and signs for your store. I even forgot why I said that. Many lessons here. Research the CEO and check if he has twirly mustache before signing a contract. He didn't have a twirly mustache when I met him. Clean shaven. Must purchase, lease, or use in the development and operation of the store only those brands, types, or models of fixtures, furnishings, signs, supplies, services, and equipment, and the design, architectural, and construction services that the company has approved. As discussed above, we will provide you to the names of our approved vendors by your furniture, fixtures, equipment, and signs. Occasionally, we may modify the list of approved types, brands, models, and or suppliers, and you may not, after receipt of notice of this modification, reorder any type, brand, or model from any supplier that is no longer approved. After your store opens, you agree not to alter its fixtures, equipment, signs, or furniture without our express prior written approval. You further agree to place a display at the accepted location of the store, only such signs, emblems, marketing material, lettering, and logos that are periodically approved in writing by the company. You must display in your store all required information, directional, wayfinding, and descriptive signage, as well as any other branding, advertising, and marketing materials we provide you pursuant to Section 10 of this agreement. F United Healthcare, win Luigi. That's the chat. Our franchise shifty smooth. What do you mean? If franchisees are updated as it goes. By the way, nice bike. I do have a question. I heard the contract was a living document in Google Docs. Mav Yet. I love that guy. So far, he didn't screw me. Mav YT. Don't want to say his name on stream. And just because he's still involved, I believe that guy is now a manager. He's a solid guy. Like what? How do you feel about him? Are you a Bricks Minifigs owner? How do you know that? How do you know that name? Maev YT. I don't know if he cut his hair though. He had a pretty solid Polynesian ponytail. He's the one that called me the Big Mac. I need that piece of paper. I need to see if I have it. That's a really cool. It's an official document that somebody said I was the Big Mac, like to the Bricks and Minifigs. If McDonald's had a Big Mac, that's who I was to Bricks and Minifigs. Corporate's words, not mine. You further agree to place a display or accept the location of the store, only such signs, emblems, marketing, blah, 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 blah. Wayfinding, Section 10. In operating your store, you must establish and maintain a bookkeeping, accounting, record keeping, and data processing system conforming to the requirements and formats that we prescribe, including a common chart of accounts and methodology format, submission process, and timeline. And you must use the operation data control system approved by us. As further detailed in the manual, you must furnish us periodic reports, which include and are not limited to monthly gross revenue reports and monthly profit and loss statements and balance sheets. You must provide such period reports in a timely manner as noted in Section 11 of this franchise agreement. Did the chat fall asleep? Did you? Did you? It's alright. It's freaking late. But I'm actually really curious. What's the story there, Maev? You must also purchase front of house and back office computer system with the appropriate hardware and software. You must purchase the appropriate word processing spreadsheet, internet browser, antivirus, firewall, spyware protection, point of sale software, and any other software you may choose to require. You also must pay any fees associated with the required software and POS system. Phone lodging and late night snacking. Oh, word. Man, I cooled a monster, and now I'm like, I feel like I have the energy enough to keep going. Yeah. And later I have to prep because we're celebrating my daughter's birthday in the morning, and that's going to be fun. And then fall asleep. I'm playing Pokemon Crystal. I'll watch Clark Kent break this down. Now that's a compliment right there. No, I've been investigating from the get. I figured he was the one that called you the Big Mac. Yes, he was. Been waiting to reach out to him until I understand where he stands more. Okay, look. He's still part of Bricks Minifigs. He most likely cannot put out a statement. Okay? So, like, yeah. But I would say ask him if he could send you that Big Mac letter because the last relic would love to have it because that's a great letter. I am the Big Mac. It was a recommendation letter. It'd be great if he still has that. But yeah, funny enough, man, like this, like I still am searching for better jobs and all that. But there was a guy on Instagram sent me a message, and I was looking through one of his. I think it's like super cool dude on Instagram. The Top Shelf Nerds, right? He had a Nintendo 64 and a James Bond cartridge in it, and I miss my Nintendo 64. I actually, unfortunately, I was okay parting with it. I sold it this past December, so I could buy my son and my daughter and my other son Christmas presents. And it didn't go for much. It was like I got like $60 for it, but I was like, nah, they gotta have Christmas gifts, you know. But I do miss it. I had all the adapters to put it on my brand new TV, which by the way doesn't work all that well. If you have a Nintendo 64, you kind of have to go scour the freaking earth to get old school TVs, because that's the only way like you'll get an actual nice resolution of how it was back in the day. Owner's purchasing applications for bookkeeping, but BAM can't find list of legal consignment in their system. That's been there. LOL. Yep. Yep. You are correct. Right in your store. Blah, blah, blah. If you must also purchase front of house and back office computer system with appropriate hardware and software. You must purchase the appropriate word processing, spreadsheet, internet browser, antivirus, firewall. Freaking A. Point of sale software and any other software you may choose or require. You also must pay any fees associated with the required software and POS system. You must provide assistance as may be required to connect your store's computer system with our centralized computer systems. We shall have the right to periodically retrieve this data and information from your computer system and deem necessary or desirable, and you must fully cooperate with these efforts. In view of the contemplated interconnection of computer system and the necessity that the system be compatible with each other, you agree that you will comply strictly with all defined standards and specifications for items associated with your computer system. To ensure operational efficiency and optimum communication capability among computer systems installed at Bricks and Minifigs stores, you agree at your expense to keep your computer system in good maintenance and repair, and to promptly install these upgrades, additions, changes, modifications, substantial and or replacement of hardware, software, data, connectivity, electrical power, and other computer-related facilities as we direct. You must upgrade or replace financial and inventory data processing and communication systems to conform with the current security requirements and system upgrades. Whether we require it, you will be responsible for the cost of such upgrades. Store opening. By the way, store opening is everything. All right? Yeah. Did Matt Bachman sign an ADA? NDA, most likely. He worked for corporate. So, yeah. Owner's purchasing application for book. Okay, the Messers had that POS on lock. They did. And you want to know a fun fact? If you haven't been watching the Toy Bounty Hunters while I'm on there, my termination letter is designated to Dear Mr. and Mrs. Messer. So they copy and paste that stuff and then put my info down there. But yeah, my termination letter says Dear Mr. and Mrs. Messer. Shout out to the Nathan, the electrician. His rules for life: be a hermit. That's also Tolkien. The Shire is the greatest place on earth to live. To ensure operational efficiency and optimum communication capability among computer systems, installed at Bricks and Minifigs stores. You agree? What did you say? Yeah. Oh, okay. My bad. To keep your computer system good, blah, blah, blah. Promptly install upgrades as we substitution, software data, such upgrades. Okay, store opening. You must open the store and be operational within 180 days of signing this franchise agreement. The open doesn't always happen. Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate it. An interview with a former employee connected a lot of the dots. That second PO system had me. Oh, yeah, that was not legal. All smells of churring, Relic. Time to get all that fam gold tooth. Yeah. Any variance of the extension of the opening deadline must be obtained from us in writing. We will provide you with the access to our pre-opening manual to assist you in the pre-opening process. You will prepare and furnish to the company an opening, advertising, and promotional plan and budget for the store that will contain a timeline for opening and budget for publicity, advertising, promotion, staffing, decoration, and operation during the opening period. Grand opening plan. You must submit a grand opening plan, including the budget, to us for approval at least 90 days before your store's targeted grand opening date. You must use the types of advertising media specified in the grand opening plan and pre-opening manual. You must spend not less than $5,000 for advertising and promotion for the opening of the store. The grand opening expenses. The grand opening expenses will be for materials and marketing service expenses such as media costs and will not include staffing costs. You must submit proof of then current advertising and marketing expenditures to us 10 days before the opening of your store. Your grand opening plan must be implemented 30 days before your store's targeted grand opening date and for 30 days following the commencement of the store's grand opening event. We will also provide you with operational assistance as set forth below to assist you in starting your operations, including on-site opening assistance. As scheduled by us, you may be required to pay for the expenses of personnel, including airline and other transportation costs, meals, lodgings, and salaries. Oh my gosh. I feel like swallowing a double barrel. Training and guidance. Initial training. Franchise. How can you guys stand this? Man. Shout out to Toy Bounty Hunter for keep reading all those documents. I'm gonna swallow a double barrel. I'm gonna Kurt Cobain myself. 16th Chapel. Franchisor will provide the initial training program at its headquarters or another location of its choice. Despite any provision in this agreement to the contrary, franchisor has zero obligation to provide the initial training program to franchisee at franchisor's expense except for the franchisee's first franchise. Initial training will take place after franchisee pays out of his booty the initial franchise fee, but before franchisee opens that booty up, the franchise business. Franchisor will provide the initial training, approximately 5-day training program at corporate headquarters, which kinda sucks, without charge for up to 3 individuals. which must be your owners, at least 60 days before the date of the franchisee anticipates opening this hellhole of a store. The initial training program franchisee, oh my gosh, franchisee will, however, be responsible for travel, accommodation, and other costs for all its attendees. Because we're cheap, franchisee must attend and satisfactorily complete this training at least 60 days before the date of the franchisee anticipates opening the store while he sells his soul. If franchisee fails to complete the initial training program to franchisor's satisfaction, franchisor may terminate the agreement as described in Section 14. Thereafter, any owner designated by franchisee to replace a previously trained owner may be trained by franchisor, big boss owner, in franchisor's discretion with 30 days to 90 day of replacement at franchisee's cost as provided below. This contract is booty. Every contract is booty. For someone who doesn't cuss a lot, that Kurt Cobain reference was dark. Hey man, cussing ain't dark. I'm dark. Stay black, people. Crystal mentioned going to a big BAM event that was once a year where all the owners attended. Did you go to that? I actually never went to one of those. So every year, all the owners, they do like this huge conference, right? Usually in October. It's like BAM. So I forget the name. So there was one time they went to Legoland. Actually, a few times they went to Legoland. And I think they choose different states now every year. But hold up. I think the last year that or the year that I was still in the mall, second year, I think it was in like Georgia. And they talked about my store. Because my location had the most traffic in the store. I did some pretty decent marketing, and they mentioned it. But they also mentioned how again, when I took over the location, we had 30,000. When the agreement came, at the time we had $30,000 in product only. That's overall inventory. That's nothing. You need to make at least 30,000, and that's retail or above retail price. So technically, I only had like $20 to $25,000 of inventory when I got the location, right? So our average ticket was actually pretty low, and nobody was really well trained. So when that happened, obviously I needed to fill up the store, but I changed the prices, so we lost money because everything was above retail price. And I'm like, we're not doing that. That's disgusting. To me, that's completely dishonest. Just because you guys made a bad deal, now the community has to suffer so that you can make a profit. And also, it didn't make sense. There was a Barnes & Noble 4 stores down, and in the mall. And they sold some of the same Lego products we had. So they have an X-Wing for $50, and we had an X-Wing for $60. That makes no sense. And I saw after the first day, people would go walk in our store, and they like our store. Then they would go back to Barnes and Nobles, buy the set for cheaper, which made sense, and then come back to our store to hang out. I'm like, we're losing so much sales. So yeah, we didn't start off very, very good, right? Because you need to make more than $30,000 a month. That's insane. And if I made $30,000 my first month, which I think we did, but I went hard on finding deals and filling up the location with the actual inventory and getting good deals. And that's when I cut off, my first month I cut off all. I think second month I cut off all vendors because they were only giving 6% profit. which is just goes to your royalties and advertising fees, so you have no profit. And then I changed it up because I'm not a freaking moron, and I know how to run a business. But yeah, so I would say if we started off with at least like 100,000 in inventory, we probably would be hitting. We probably would have hit like 60,000 sales a month right off the bat. But I couldn't hit that because we literally didn't have the inventory. So yeah, yeah. But they did talk about my location that first year and how like our average ticket was really high, but we had a lot of traffic, but we weren't getting people in the store because there was no marketing, and I had to change the reputation. There was a bad reputation. But yeah, they do that once a year. That was called Viva La Bam. Maybe at one of them, but they called it different other things. I live in a really big state, college town. My uncle is the primary lawyer for the guy who owns 51% of the rental properties. Damn. Damn. He's cool as hell. Love him to death. But man, people do not like him. Yeah, you got to be cutthroat, man. You got to be in business. Like, you got to be cutthroat especially in real estate. Like, dude, like rental properties you don't mess around with because it's not a community relationship. Like, if they're not paying your bills, okay, get out. That's how it has to be, unfortunately. It's nice if somebody's like able to talk to them, but like also you have to make. There's so many things that go into it, right? You got your HOA, you got your like the look of the location. If like people are if you don't have a property manager, and like anybody's just doing whatever, then the value drops. The neighborhood could invite the wrong type of people. There's real estate is not a joke. Yeah, like if you invest in real estate, you gotta expect to be hated. That's just life. I netted them profit the whole way, but I bet the supply lines netted them profit the whole way. Yeah, they did. UAC went from Bam Majera to Bam franchise. I mean, I love Bam Majera. It's Bum Mahera. Franchise will provide franchisee with product knowledge, specification strategies for purchasing products, inventory management, POS system and software operations, techniques and efficiencies, operational standards, customer service, hiring guidelines and standard safety procedures, sales and merchandising, suggested pricing for products and services in addition to franchisor proprietary software programs as described in Section 8. They may have been developed by us or our affiliates and required in the operation of each store. Franchisor reserves the right in its sole discretion to add, modify, and change such training from time to time. Franchisee will be responsible for all costs associated with administration of such changes. Pre-opening training. Franchisor will provide up to 3 days of pre-opening and or grand opening supervision and assistance at franchisee's store prior to opening. We will endeavor to complete such training within 30 days before the store grand opening dates and after the initial 5-day training has been completed to franchisor satisfaction. Franchisor's costs associated with this pre-opening, grand opening supervision and assistance are incurred by the franchisor for franchisee's first franchise only. Franchisor will not provide this supervision and assistance at franchisor's expense of franchisee's second or subsequent franchise. Additional support requested by franchisee will be subject to the training charge as described in the section. Additional training, assistance, and conventions. Why do you think they were against bringing in an investor? So, usually an investor. Here, I'll highlight that. Why do you think they were against bringing on an investor? This is my theory, and it was pointed out the other day, actually. I saw up restore all this. We'll see. Like, thank you. With investors, they have money. With money, they have their own lawyers. They're very well protected. So, investors are dangerous for corporations. When it comes to if you want to be scummy, you're most likely going to lose because they got good lawyers. Because then you're dealing with rich people. You're not dealing with people like Bricks and Minifigs are opportunity franchise. That's how I label it. Meaning, you're not a millionaire usually if you're opening up a Bricks Minifigs. You either came into some money or you found a good opportunity and you found people who are willing to give you a little dough to start your own business. All right? That's what Bricks Minifigs is. It's not like you know, you're not opening up a cheesecake factory. Okay? That's going to require millions and you're dealing with heavy hitters. So I think that's why if their intention was to screw me over, they definitely don't want an investor involved. Were their day one Best and Johnson, yeah, so-called investors in this section, pre-opening training. Franchise will provide supervision. Okay, additional training assistance conventions. Franchisor may reasonably require franchisee and its owners. And by the way, guys, sorry if I'm missing parts. Like, it is late. I'm gonna read and I might miss a sentence or two, so I do apologize. But I keep it here so that if anybody wants to actually pause it and read it, you can. New replacement owners to receive or attend and complete to franchisor satisfaction. Additional advanced training from time to time. Franchisee may be required to pay for such training at franchisor's reasonable than current training fees. Franchisee must also pay travel, food, and accommodations and all other retarded expenses. Franchisor will attempt to use distance learning techniques where possible to minimize these costs. Depending on availability, franchisor may provide additional training to franchisee for franchisee's owners at franchisee's request. Franchisee may be required to pay franchisor the charges that franchisor reasonably determines. Franchisee will be responsible for travel, room, and board other expenses of trainees. Tony! Hello. It's good to see you, Tony. Tony. Give it to me, baby. Also, a lot of complaints from former franchisees are how hands-off corporate is. That's always been a big complaint. How would you describe your experience with corporate when you were working with GNC versus BAM? Well, I was there when GNC filed bankruptcy. The GNC was always hands-on when they were a public traded company and even private. Because, okay, so GNC, practically it was like this. The board of directors didn't want to be public no more, and they weren't doing so hot. They're very old-minded, right? But there was like 2 or 3 people that wanted to own GNC. So they filed Chapter 11 for restructuring. When it's restructured, it goes to bidding. So then these guys get all this money from the filing Chapter 11, and they usually have some money where they could bid, own GNC, and then move on with the company to a private entity, meaning there are no more shareholders. There is no more public involved, right? So they can actually do whatever they want with it. GNC, like, they had structure. Your regional sales director, and then the manager of the regional sales director that cover like certain coasts of the country or overseas, and so, and they had an open line. If you were a store manager, like, I trained managers, trained their staff, and then gave them locations. I also was a manager. I also started like ground level too, way back in the day when I was like 20, 21, no 20, yeah. And back in the day, I was actually bodybuilding as well. So I know quite a bit about health and fitness. I'll have to show you guys pictures, pictures. When I lost a lot of weight due to this whole debacle. Like I told you guys, I was prepping for my jiu-jitsu tournament, and I was worried I wasn't gonna make weight. And then by the time tournament day came, I was underweight without even trying. And so I had to fight at a higher weight class from my weight because that's the one I signed up for, and I was under the weight. So yeah, I like GNC was great to handle with them. Like, you got all the analytics, you understood the real estate, what other problems were around. Like there was a lot of stuff that was really, really good. Unfortunately, the like after the whole bankruptcy thing, the new guys, like their payment structure was super flawed. Actually, they did like a communist socialist bullcrap, where it's like if you make a sale, it's your team has to make the sale for you to get commission. So one guy could be like a star player, but they're all sharing commission, and then everybody else is coasting. So that's the bullcrap that happened right after. I don't know if they changed that, but yeah. People can access. Are you posting the contract somewhere where people can access it? No. I am gonna give it to YouTubers where they can look it over. Um, some law tubers, if they reach out to me, apparently somebody's reaching out to me right now on a different platform. But I'm willing to like give it again. I redacted it myself, so I'm very careful because I'm not trying to get into. I'm okay. Like if somebody sues me, f them. I don't care. But I'm not trying to, you know, I'm not actively trying to get sued. You know what I mean? So I don't know what's all the best things to do. I'm being very careful. Yeah, but it will be here. It'll be posted forever, and other people can take a look at it, react to it, whatever they want to do. Where were we? Operations manual and pre-opening manual. During the term of this agreement, we will provide you with the access to the Bricks Minifigs operations manual, the operation manual, and the pre-opening manual. And pre-opening manual, collectively, the manuals contain mandatory and suggested specification standards and operating obligations under this agreement. You must comply fully with the mandatory standards, specifications, and operating procedures and other obligations contained in the manuals. We have the right to modify the manuals in the future to reflect change in the image, specification standards, procedure system, and system standards. It is your responsibility to keep your operation manual current by checking for all updates and revisions, which updates and revisions will be posted online. If a dispute develops related to the contents of the manuals, our master manuals will be controlling the manuals contains confidential information, and you agree to not copy at any time any part of the manuals, either physically or electronically, provided that you may print out one current copy of any manuals that we provide in electronic format and keep it in the accepted location of your store. You agree to not allow unauthorized persons to access the Bricks Minifigs Google Workspace shared drive, the Slack communication platform, or any other franchisee-only portal, and franchisor may provide the intranet unauthorized use of the manuals or the system will constitute a breach of this agreement and infringement of our proprietary rights, including trade secrets and copyrights. You must promptly report any unauthorized use of the manuals or other confidential information to us immediately. The marks, people. The ownership and goodwill of the marks and trade secrets. It is shifty, people. Back to my last comment, lawyers who are good at their job are paid for a reason. Word. Okay. Let's lock in. My neck kind of hurts because I was like looking like this the whole time. Okay. You acknowledge that the company and its affiliate licensor are owners of your soul, of certain rights to the marks, and your rights to the marks is derived solely from this agreement, and it is limited to the conduct of business by you pursuant. By the way, everybody, like and subscribe to and in compliance with the agreements and all applicable standards, specifications, and operating procedures prescribed by the company periodically during the term of this franchise. Yeah, even if you liked on the last video, like this one too. Any unauthorized use of the marks by you shall constitute a breach of this agreement and infringement of the rights of the company and or licensor in and to the marks. You acknowledge and agree that all usage of the marks by you and any goodwill established by it shall inure, if that's maybe that's a typo, I don't know, to the exclusive benefit of the company and or licensor, and this agreement does not confer any goodwill or other interest in marks upon you except the right to operate a Bricks Minifigs store in compliance with this agreement. All provisions of this agreement applicable to the mark shall apply to any additional proprietary trade and service marks, any and commercial symbols authorized for use by license to you by the company. You acknowledge that as of the date of the franchise agreement, some or all the marks may not have been registered with any state or federal agency. You may not, at any time, during or after the term, contest or assist any other person or entity contesting the validity, ownership of any of the marks. Ooh. Oh, man. Tony is out for the count. I'm going to have to catch the rest tomorrow. Lunchtime is over. Have a great rest of your night, everyone. Thanks for this one, Ruck. You are welcome. You're freaking welcome, man. Oh, and I have to make the rest of you suffer through all this contracts. I'm pretty sure lawyers can make this much more entertaining than I can. But I'm going to try. You, the loser, hereby acknowledge that franchisor or one or more franchisors who will screw you, affiliates, own, and control the distinctive plan and trade secrets for establishing, operating, and promoting and enslaving Bricks and Minifig stores and all related licensed methods of doing business, which include, but are not limited to, getting screwed, technical store standards, customer relations, vendor relations, marketing techniques and content, written promotional materials, manuals, and training program manual contents, advertising strategies, financial reports, and financial dashboards and accounting system, all of which constitute trade secrets and may have been licensed to franchisor, and you acknowledge that franchisor and its affiliates have valuable rights that you don't have in and to these trade secrets. You further acknowledge that you have no rights. All innovations, additions, or improvements made to the mark or system standards, even by you, shall belong to franchisor as well as your soul or its affiliates. Glad you are sharing. Thank you. Thank you. I may or may not be reading it verbatim. Let that be known. Let that be known. This is torture. You guys like this stuff? All right. All right. You guys are psychopaths just like me. Just like me. Cool. Cool. Limitations on franchisee use of marks. You must use the marks of the sole identification of the store that you are identified as the independent owner in the manner prescribed by the company. You must use only the marks as we prescribe in your connection with your store and self-authorized services and products. You shall ensure that all copyrights used hereunder shall bear any appropriate copyright notice under the Universal Copyright Convention or other copyright laws prescribed by us. Any unauthorized use, adaptation, publication, reproduction, preparation of derivative works, distribution of copies, whether by sale or other transfer of ownership, or by rental, lease, or derivative works, distribution of copies, whether by sale, transfer of ownership, or by rental, lease, or lending, or attempts to recreate all or a portion. Excuse me, people. And that I lost my spot. All or a portion of these copyrights shall constitute a breach of this agreement and an infringement of the rights of company and or license and or in the marks and to the copyright. What isn't a breach? You shall not use any mark or any abbreviation, modification, or colorable imitation as part of any corporate or legal business name or trade name or any internet-related use such as electronic media identifier for websites, web pages, or domain names not expressly authorized by us in writing or with any prefix, suffix, or other modifying words, terms, designs, symbols, other than logos licensed to you under this agreement or in any modified forms or in any other manner, or nor may you use any mark in connection with the sale of any unauthorized product or service or any other manner not expressly authorized in writing by the company. You must prominently display the marks in the manner prescribed by the company and give notices to trade and service mark registration as the company specifications and to obtain fictitious or assumed name registration as may be required under applicable law, in addition to all other rights we may have regarding unauthorized use of the marks or the sale of unauthorized products or services. You must reimburse us for any damages, liability, or expenses incurred by us arising out of your sale or of any unauthorized product or service. If any of the fees payable pursuant to this section are for the right to use the system standard, these fees are all inclusive and are not allocated among any of the various rights, including the marks of any components of the marks that comprise the system standards. You're not BGC. This is her jam. This is her jam, okay? We have not talked. All right? We have not talked. Shifty chill, bro. And then KNQ. I only believe stuff Clark Kent says, not McNeff Luther. Oh. Word. Franchisor retains the sole right to market the sell on the internet and use the marks to market. Man, I might watch freaking Christopher Reeve, The Donner Cut Superman 2 tonight before going to bed for like an hour. Yeah. Man, I wish I could share. Like, I don't want to put my family on the internet, but I wish I could share how cute it was when right after work, I was able to get the tips right away. So I went and bought, I work at a restaurant, by the way. I bought Princess Jasmine and Princess Aurora for my daughter, and my son gave Princess Aurora to her, and me and my wife and my youngest baby gave her Princess Jasmine. She was so happy. It was so great. Because her birthday was before, but we're celebrating it tomorrow. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I might be like running on fumes. Monster will be my fuel, and then I have to go to work right after, which is gonna suck donkey dick. Franchisor retains the sole right to market and sell on the internet and use the marks to market on the internet, including all use of websites, domain names, URLs, directory address, email address, meta tags, linking, advertising, and co-branding, and other arrangements, and in all other forms of electronic media. It's late. I'm gonna get weird. Franchise may not establish a presence on the internet except as we may specify, and only with our prior written consent, separately register in any domain name or any portion of a domain name containing the marks, or participate or market on any website or other form of electronic media, including social technology, social media, and social networking platforms, using the marks unless franchisees first obtains written approval from franchisor. Franchisees' general conduct on the internet or other forms of electronic media, including franchisees' use of the marks or any advertising, is subject to the terms and conditions of this agreement and any other rules, requirement, or policy the franchisor may identify from time to time. Subject to the section below, franchisee may use the marks for advertising using social media and must first obtain franchisor's prior written approval, which shall not unreasonably be withheld, conditioned, or delayed. Franchisee must sign any internet and intranet usage agreements and policies when developed by franchisor. Franchisor retains the right to approve or disapprove any linking to or other use of the website. I'm gonna freaking pass out. Uh the contract just says corporate gets all the benefits and control, that you are just a serf to be exploited. Word. I meant no disrespect. I get where he's coming from. I used to climb utility poles and now sit reading all day on a laptop. No, dude, I'm not taking. At not one point I thought you were disrespecting me. But F you. No, I'm playing. You good, man. I like don't ever worry about my feelings. I'm good. Like my feelings are not penetrated so easily. Unless you stab me, that's when I probably will feel offended. Other than getting stabbed or getting shot at, I think I'm all right. It would be so dope to hear all the legalities from the franchise agreement in your favorite Star Wars voice for education and entertainment purposes. Happy birthday to your princess. Oh, thank you. She's the best. My favorite Star Wars voice? Should I go Anakin? I want more, but I know I shouldn't. You have become the very thing you sought to destroy. And that's a quote for Bricks Minifigs. Yeah, I can't do voices right now. I actually used to be pretty good at doing some voices. I thought there was something in there that felt weird. It's unfair. He's holding me back. Yep. If it's Jar Jar, I'm leaving forever. Misa Jar Jar Binks. Leave forever. Bruh. Alright. Man, I'm trying to think. Like, what? There used to be some voices I was... I'd actually have to ask my employees what voices I was actually good at. Because I forgot. Oh! I don't know if I could do it now. Me and one of my employees, we would quote Shrek. He'd be Lord Farquaad. And I'd be Gingy. Well, she's married to the Muffin Man. The Muffin Man? The Muffin Man! Yeah, pretty much. But that was a bad one. Johnson is the Jar Jar Binks. Dude. Joshua Johnson is the roast Tico. Alright? Don't scully the name of Jar Jar Binks. The Binks of Jar Jar. He's the GOAT. Alright? You never watched Fanboys? Tattoo that one? The pimp got? He's gonna be something. One of the best films ever made. If you are a Star Wars fan and you've never watched Fanboys, you're not really a Star Wars fan, alright? Go watch the movie Fanboys. Actually, that might... If you have a choice between this stream and Fanboys, go watch Fanboys. Alright? That's a 100% recommendation. It is a solid film. It is a real fanboy film. Solid cast. Oh, so good. I wish they did a Fanboys of like today's day and age, where like the Star Trek fans and the Star Wars fans are getting together and just like crying for 2 hours about how crap their properties have been completely molested. Yeah. But it'd be funny. And then them cry, they only hang out at the one Blockbuster that still exists. You acknowledge that we are lawful. We are the lawful, rightful, and sole owner of the Bricks and Minifigs website.com domain name, and unconditionally disclaim any ownership interest in that phrase or any similar internet domain name. Franchisees shall not establish a website in the internet using any domain name containing the words Bricks and Minifigs, and Bricks and Minifigs or any variation thereof on any other word that describe the Bricks and Minifigs business determined by us in our sole discretion, which may change from time to time. Franchisee acknowledges that we have all right, title, and interest into such domain names as well shall designate in the operations manual. Franchisee must comply with all our requirements regarding discussing, advertising, or disseminating any information or otherwise having a presence, a website regarding the store. Okay, who here Star Wars in theater 1977, baby? I didn't exist. But fun fact, if you don't know this, then you haven't been paying attention. My reopening of my Bricks and Minifigs was on the true and only Star Wars Day, May 25th. That was our re-grand opening. And it was beautiful. Beautiful. What did I just read? Something about the name. Okay. If we approve a separate website, which we are not obligated to do, then each of the following provisions will apply. Franchisee may neither establish nor use any website without our prior written approval. Before establishing any website, franchisee must submit to us for our prior written approval a sample of the proposed website, including its domain name, format, visible content, including without limitation proposed screenshots, and non-visible content, including meta tags, in the form and manner we may require, and all such work must be performed by us, our affiliates, or approved vendors, which franchisee is responsible for all expenses. Franchisee must not use or modify a website without our prior approval. A franchisee must comply with the standards and specifications for websites, and franchisor may periodically describe in the operations manual or otherwise in writing. And if franchisor requires, franchisee must establish hyperlinks to franchisor's website and other websites, and neither franchisee nor any of its employees shall post any information regarding us or the system or any website or any internet site without our prior written approval, nor any disparaging statements either during or after termination or expiration of the agreement. Further, franchisees shall educate and make commercially reasonable efforts to monitor its employees to help avoid them making any such postings. Franchisor retains the right to pre-approve franchisees' use of linking and framing between the franchisee's website and all other websites. The franchisee shall within 5 days dismantle any blogs, frames, and links between the franchisee's web page and any other websites. If it and as requested by franchisor, you must not to register any internet domain name in any class or category that contains the words Bricks and Minifigs, or any abbreviation, acronym, or variation of those words, or any part of our marks. Notification of infringement claims. You shall immediately notify the company of any apparent infringement of a challenge to use of any mark or claim by any person of any rights in any mark, and shall communicate with any person other than the company and its counsel in connection with any infringement challenge or claim. Oh, man, the tism's starting to act. The company and or licensor shall have sole discretion to take action as it or they deem appropriate, and shall have the right to exclusively control any litigation or U.S. Patent Trademarks Office proceedings or other administrative proceeding arising out of any infringement challenge or claim, or otherwise relating to any mark. You must sign and all instruments and documents, render assistance, and do such acts and things as may in the opinion of the company's or licensor's counsel be necessary or advisable to protect and maintain the interests of the company and licensor in any litigation or proceeding to otherwise protect, maintain the interest of the company and licensor in the marks. Indemnification of franchise. The company agrees to indemnify you against and to reimburse you for all damages. They won't do that, for which you are held liable in any proceeding arising out of his use of any mark. They still won't do it. Pursuant and in compliance with this agreement, and for all costs reasonably incurred by by you in the defense of any claim or in any proceeding in which you are named as a party, provide that you have timely notified the company of this claim or proceeding and have otherwise compiled with this agreement. The company is entitled to prosecute, defend, and or settle any proceedings arising out of your use of any mark pursuant to this agreement, and if the company undertakes to prosecute, defend, and or settle any matter, we have no obligation to indemnify or reimburse you for any fees or disbursements of any legal counsel retained by you. Okay, my family and I would karaoke all the commercials like Frosted Flakes and Kit Kat. Wow, we were corny. But that's beautiful. But we didn't have electronics in the 90s. We had Nintendo and Sega Genesis, so we had to be creative. Nah. You want to know something me and my sister used to do? We would watch Zorro, and we would just lay on the couch and do that with our legs, and then hit. It was awesome. Yep. And my wife's super into karaoke. She is from South Korea. It's like if karaoke, just a name, could be their national anthem, it would be. They love karaoke. Love it. I could see why people quit pursuing being a lawyer. It freaking sucks just to read, let alone understand. Oh, I hate my life right now so much. Let's get through this one more page, and then feel free to ask your questions, people. Feel free to write your questions. I'll read them right after this page, and we can end just chilling for this last part, because I can't take reading this too much. I'm gonna invite some people on to read it for me, because I swear, like, this is why people like turn on the car with the garage down and just go blissfully to sleep. This has got to be one of the reasons. This continuance of use of the marks. If it becomes advisable at any time in the company's sole discretion for the company and or franchisee to modify or discontinue use of a mark and or use of more additional substitute elements of the mark due to priority of use by another party of the same or a confusingly similar mark and or use one of more additional or substitute trade of service marks, you must comply with 14 days after notice by the company of its modification and discontinuance of any mark. Neither the company, licensor, nor any of their affiliates shall have any liability or obligation whatsoever to respect you with respect to any required modification or discontinuance of use of any of the marks, or the promotion or use of substitute mark, except as otherwise provided in section 6 hereof. Your organization and management. Some of you are going to get that. Rabbit Duck, good to see you, brother. Good to see you. I will read your word slop in a bit. I'm having an aneurysm, I swear. Organizational documents. Okay, if you are or at any time become a business, corporation, partnership, limited liability company, or other legal entity, you and each of your principal owners represent, warrant, and agree that you are duly organized and validly existing under the laws of the state of your organization, and if a foreign business, corporation, partnership, limited liability company, or other legal entity, you are duly qualified to transact business in the state in which your store is located. 2. You have the authority to sign and deliver this agreement and perform your obligations hereunder. 3. True and complete copies of the articles of the certificate of incorporation, articles of organization, operating agreement, and principles, partnership agreement, bylaws, subscription agreement, buy-sell agreements, voting trust agreements, and all other documents relating to your ownership organization, capitalization, management, control, organized documents shall be promptly delivered to us for our approval, which approval shall not be unreasonably withheld. For any and all amendments, delections, and additions to your organized documents shall be promptly delivered to us for our approval, which approval shall not be unreasonably withheld. This sucks. I hate reading this so much. This is for you people. Oh, and I do mean you people, all of them. 5, your activities are restricted to those who own you, to those necessary solely for the development, ownership, and operation of Bricks and Minifigs stores in accordance with the agreement, in accordance with any other agreements entered into with us or any of our affiliates. The certificate of incorporation, articles of organization, operating agreement, or principles, partnership agreement, or other organizational documents recite that the issuance, transfer, or pledge of any direct or indirect legal or beneficial ownership interest is restricted by the terms of this agreement. All certificates representing direct and indirect legal beneficial ownership interest now or hereafter. Oh my gosh, this sucks. Issued must be bear a legend in conformity with applicable law reciting or referring. Do you guys understand any of this stuff? Because I'm it might be because I'm super tired, but I barely understand it. Refer to these restrictions. And 8, you will deliver to us a secretary's clerk's. I understand it, but I'm having brain fart. Or the evidence satisfactory to us that the signing, delivery, and performance of this agreement and all other agreements and ancillary documents contemplated hereby and thereby have been duly authorized by all necessary actions by your corporation, partnership, limited liability company, or other legal entity as applicable. Disclosure of ownership if franchise is an entity, a corporation, general partnership, joint venture, limited partnership, limited liability company, trust, estate, or other business entity, and franchise will complete the ownership of addendum attached as Schedule 2, which identifies each of its and each of its entity owners must sign the company's then current form of personal guarantee. Entity owner means with respect to an entity, any shareholders owning directly or beneficial 10% or more of, oh my gosh, this part sounds like the contracts they had people sign during the slave trade, or more of any class of securities of the entity, any general partner or co-venturer in the entity, any partner in limited liability partnership or member in a limited liability company owning directly or beneficially 10% or more of ownership interest in the limited liability partnership or limited liability company, in the trustee, administrator of any trust or estate, and any beneficiary of a trust of estate owning directly or beneficiary of 10% or more of the interest in the trustee or estate. It is in the intent of this definition to trace back and include within the definition of entity owner all natural persons owning the requisite interest to qualify as entity owners. Each of you, your entity owners, if any, and their respective spouses, parents, brothers, sisters, children, whether natural or adopted, and other members of their immediate household are considered restricted persons, as the term is used herein, because we don't consider you people. I think we'll stop reading for at least a little bit. Oh, freaking A. We're almost halfway to reading all this crap. All right. Ha ha ha. Okay, does the verbiage imply it's a controlled document but not label each page as a controlled document? Why does this sound like they copy/pasted something that they borrowed from another franchise? Because they most likely did. If my termination letter proves anything, is that they copy and paste a lot of bullcrap. Does this verbiage imply it's a controlled document but not label each controlled document? Okay, I just read that. That's, as you can see, it is 3 a.m. here, and I gotta start setting up for my daughter's little birthday. Yeah, And by the way, I'm not like sad that I had to sell the Nintendo 64 to get my kids birthday presents. They're the best. I'll get them a Nintendo 64 one day. This sounds like a job for either Saul Goodman or Hamlin the McGill. Rock on, brother. LOL. These mother effers care more about their copyrighted material than their franchisees. It's wild. Yeah, it's true. Sounds like a lot like Disney. You have no idea. Do we know if Denton May Change wrote this contract? This here, hold up. Let me. It would say, right? Give me uno segundo. Must sign. Da, 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 da. It would say the law firm, I believe, in one of these. Grim DocuSign. I can. I think eventually we will see what law firm it was. And I don't know how long they've been with Denton, and how long this franchise agreement has been around. Yeah. Bon. Well. Yeah. Wrote this. By the way, like the way Denton law firm works is kind of like a franchise. So Denton is a big name, but it could be that like they acquired a law firm in the state of Utah and then just slapped the Denton name on it. So the lawyers might not be trained by the Denton practice or way of training. So who knows? Who knows if it's like for real or not? That's what I heard. Oh dang, you nailed it. Yeah. Did anyone get the impression that they used Grok or ChatGPT for the dealing with social media after the redacted videos? Wouldn't surprise me. Okay, I know you don't want to air too much personal stuff out there, but do you know if Ammon had control of Legally Mine in any way in the beginning of 2023 following the lawsuit with Dan? I honestly don't know if he had any control or if there's somebody else that was involved or somebody that was silent. I'm okay airing stuff that relates to all this, but like for instance, like the McNeff's relationship with their father, I'll point out some things that are relevant, but I'm not going to. I know about it. I'm not gonna point out everything because I don't believe it will help with the case, and I think it would just be like me hurting somebody. Like even though I want to see Matt and Ammon McNeff be served justice, I'm not in the business of trying to hurt people. Like justice is one thing, and if you're gonna get hurt, I will hurt you in the name of justice. Outside of that, I'm not gonna use my pettiness or my hate to hurt somebody. But feel free to ask me any questions. I'll let you know if I can answer it or not. Sounds like we control the horizontal and vertical outer limits. BS. May not even control that. Hang in there, bud. You're doing great. Oh, spazzy nazi. By the way, I've said this before, but you got a great profile pic. I still haven't shown my kids Ed and Eddie. My wife, she's very careful with the cartoons. Like I showed them Codename Kids Next Door, and I forgot how like against parents they are. But she wasn't too kind on that one, so I was like, okay. And I remember we were watching The Prince of Egypt, right? And he just found out that Moses just found out that he's a Jew, and just like anybody would be in that situation, devastated. And then you hear the whips, and right before, and she was, because of the scenes previous, she's like, "Do you really think it's okay for the kids to watch this?" And without missing a beat, I was like, "Yeah, of course." The next scene, not even a millisecond right after, is the old man getting whipped and going like, "Ow, ow!" And then I just look at her like, We're good. I watched this as a kid. I turned out fine. That's basically how their contract are when they own you. Everything you do and everything that you create on the side. Word. They just couldn't whip us, huh? Makes me think of when the teacher calls you on to read during class. Man, if I could punch a teacher when I didn't raise my hand and there was like 30 kids raising their hand and she decided to pick on me, freaking A. At least kick a shin, you know? According to the multiple independent sources, Ammon McNabb previously served as the president of Legally Mine LLC. Well, president is one thing. Okay, you could be the president and not be involved. You could just like approve final decisions, you know, or you just own it. It's who's the CEO. That's who's making the decisions. So that's also why Ammon is gonna like everything that's happening is truly 100% Ammon, or at least 99.9999% Ammon, and then like anybody else. It seems like he's not communicating with Matt McNeff. I'm not trying to give him any like letting him slide, but they keep contradicting each other. Like when he says something, his brother will say another thing, and it's like, you guys gotta get your story straight. Same, she will officially be part of my Dominican family if she loves karaoke, bingo, and dominoes. Heck yeah, with some good food and lots of laughing competitors. Thrown in Korean barbecue, I got the pernil. Yeah, the pork. Yo, you look very familiar. Do you happen to live in Boston? Particularly Framingham or Franklin or Florida. And you just look your profile picture, very familiar. He was trying to access LM accounts to fund BAM. Well, that's not uncommon. Like if you own multiple LLCs, you can transfer funds over and over. It might so like Bricks and Mini. Here's how you could do it. Okay, allegedly, Bricks and Minifigs could be operating at a loss, and then Legally Mine has money, and then they got a third company. So then they transfer all the profitable funds or the funds that they have. So now they're operating at a loss. So they could be invested here, and now they're operating at a loss because they invested Bricks and Minifigs, and boom, boom, boom. Because then you get a lot more tax benefits, and you just pay each other in bonuses. So it doesn't, on paper, says you're operating at a loss. It's not profitable, but you actually have money. It just went to your personal account. And I'm not saying that's exactly how you do it, but I'm just laying out some groundwork for you. Nice background panels, dude. Okay, yeah. Here, I'll go back to full screen. Thank you. This panel was the part of the entrance to my Bricks and Minifig store. We had a Death Star entrance that we were creating. It was awesome. If you need assistance reading documents, I want to help because you are boring yourself. I love to read and can make even the most boring textbooks sound interesting. Awesome. No, like I'm boring myself, but I'm having fun because you guys are here. I'm having fun because I'm doing something that's worthwhile, like the Trump building. Agreed. This seems like a game between the fathers and their kids. Look at the LLC names. I'm Team Petty in a godly way. At least I tried, but my drama and sarcasm hasn't caught up to my transformation. Yeah, but you're Dominican. You're gonna get revenge. Against Dan's will, though. All right. Let me get a little bit more water. Maybe we'll read some more documents. I gotta hit the 2-hour mark, you know. Shoot. Yeah. Well, you guys see my Superman right here? See if I can have you guys focus. Check it out. That's Superman right there. Now you're David Corn douche. Cross-eyed douche. Seems like a nice guy, but you know. My Superman ain't gonna be cross-eyed, I'll tell you that. A thrill about them going to federal court now. Oh yeah, that is huge win. Again, it's not official yet that they're actually going, but it would be a huge win for Ben. Huge win. Like obviously for me, I think it would have been much more entertaining, much more like of a win if they won in Utah, right? But you gotta go where you're gonna have the least bias and the most benefit to your most bang for your buck. All right. Adams, dude, I haven't seen you here in a while, or this is the first time. Nice to have a company when working through files at 3 a.m. Appreciate you. Nice to have company. Okay, yeah, I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Thanks for coming in. Them taking it to federal court makes it easier for RICO to reverse on BAM, as I said before, because it's also civil RICO. So then they're going federal. There could be a lot of things that could be taken out. Prop dude shop. Do you actually have a shop? I would like to know. My office is too cluttered to pull off those panels, but I need to do something. Painting a Fab 365 Killdozer. That's sick. That's sick. All right, like we got some proper nerds in the chat. And this, by the way, this is what's it called? This is the garage. Someday I'll be able to get an office. And if you guys ever question my love for Lord of the Rings, check out my chair. Check it. Oh. Yeah. Uncle Rico Bam. All right. You and each of your principal owners represent, warrant, and agree that Schedule 2 is current, complete, and accurate. You agree that an updated Schedule 2 schedule will be furnished within 30 days of any change. So that Schedule 2, as so revised and signed by you, is at all times current, complete, and accurate. Each person who is or becomes a principal owner must sign a guarantee in the form we may choose to prescribe, undertaken to be jointly and severely bound by the terms of this agreement. The current form, which is attached to Schedule 3, each person who becomes the owner, but not a principal owner, must sign an agreement in the form we prescribe, undertaking to be bound by the confidentiality and non-competition covenants contained in this agreement. The current form, which is attached as Schedule 5, each owner must be an individual acting in his or her individual capacity unless we waive this requirement. Damn, dog, that's nice. That turning you on, bro? I'm turning you on. It's late. Be careful. Careful, something's going to catch you. Maybe even Bricks Minifigs. Oh, C, operating partner management of business. If you are or at any time become a business, corporation, partnership, limited liability company, or other legal entity, you must designate Schedule 2 as the operating partner, an individual approved by us who must, in our discretion, own and control or have the right to own and control, subject to terms and conditions reasonably accepted to us, not less than 10% interest in your equity. 2. Have the authority to bind you regarding all operational decisions with respect to your Bricks and Minifigs stores. And 3. Have completed our training to our satisfaction. You or your operating partner shall exert your full time and best efforts to the development and operation of your store and all other Bricks and Minifigs store you own. And 2, you may not engage in other business activity, directly or indirectly, that requires substantial management responsibility or time commitments, or otherwise may conflict with your obligations here under. And we will start with D. I guess I'll keep reading and let me try to get through this page. D. General Manager. An essential element of the store in the selection, training, and overall performance of our store managers. Optimum general manager performance requires specialized store leadership in the form of a duly trained store manager. We provide the appropriate training. To ensure integrity, the quality of our store, the store manager must be on-site business hours. We may periodically change the organizational structure of the store, in which case you must adopt the then current structure. Once you hire your general manager, you must inform us in writing and submit them for an appropriate training. If your store general manager is terminated or for whatever reason, you shall inform us in writing for their status. Before their employment, you must have them sign an agreement that they shall not for a period of 2 years after this termination recruit or hire any person who is an employee of yours. Man, shut up. Yours, ours, or any Bricks and Minifigs stores operated by us or affiliates of any franchisee of ours without obtaining the employer's consent, which consent may be withheld for any reason. Bricks and Minifigs operating standards, conditions of your store. You must maintain the condition and appearance of your store in strict compliance with the operation manual. You must maintain your store's condition and appearance and make modifications in additions to its layout, decor, operations, and general theme as we periodically require, including interior, exterior repair, and pertinent parking areas, periodic cleaning of your store, replacement of worn or out or obsolete leasehold improvements, fixtures, and signs, and periodic redecorating. If at any time the general state of repair, appearance, or cleanliness of your store or its fixtures, equipment, furniture, or signs does not meet our standards, we may notify you and specify the action you must take to correct this deficiency. If within 10 days after receiving this notice, if you fail or refuse to initiate the requested action, we reserve the right to enter the store and do this maintenance on your behalf and at your expense. You must promptly reimburse us for this expense. We may collect payment for this expense by pre-authorized electronic bank transfer from your general account. Man, I wonder if everybody's dirty enough to like owe corporate a cleaning fee. RC, just happy smiles. Just happy smiles. We got 3 minutes. What are your questions, people? What are your questions? We're ending it there. All right? We're ending it there. With 3 minutes of questions I can answer. Go ahead. Have fun. It doesn't even have to be Bricks and Mini Douches related. Yeah, it's funny because like so many memories flooding back, especially when I had Devin on, my former employee. If you guys haven't seen that interview, check it out. It is on my channel. I might edit it to be like all related to Bricks and Minifigs, but as a video. But he reminded me of like I forgot that when we transferred locations, the mall threw away my sign, so I had to order a new one. That means getting a new permit also. What are you most excited about introducing your kids to when they are old enough? I'm introducing to pretty much everything already. I've introduced them to Lord of the Rings. I collect and build, by the way, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know, because I've always liked more innocent like stuff. I'm not really into a lot of the adult entertainment. Like maybe Rush Hour. That would be great. Introduce them to that. Like if you didn't know, I not only build and collect, but this is from Bricker Builds. This is all Lego that I built. This was like instructions, but I usually build my own mocks. I'll show them to you guys at some point. Life size Lego bust. Ed and Eddie. LOL. All right. Making costumes for your own kids is peak. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I do that practically every Halloween, except for the ones where we're pirates. There's always like really cheap pirate costumes. There's 5 of us, and 2 girls, my wife and my daughter. And I said we got to do Power Rangers. We got to do Power Rangers. My wife is from South Korea, so she automatically gets yellow, right? My daughter is gonna get pink, and then my son's favorite one is red, and the other one could be blue, and I'll be the black one because obviously I'm black, obviously. But yeah, that woman from corporate you've mentioned that warned you about moving before she quit. No, okay, that one was the mall corporate. So, like 5 months into me owning that location, a corporation came in and bought out that mall. So the woman I mentioned is not from Bricks Minifigs at all. She is from the corporate of the mall. So that's a whole other debacle, which I got out of pretty clean. You know, I had to pay a fine because of the sign, because I had to pay for them throwing out my sign. They were like threatening to throw my name in collections and then suing me as well. And I was like, all right, I'll pay the freaking fine. F you guys. Like, and I couldn't take the sign down because, man, we're past 2 hours and we're still going. I guess we'll go another 5 minutes. I couldn't take the sign down because they were painting the mall. That's why I had to leave it there. You know, you probably have to do this all again with Echo reading your contract. Dude, I will send it to them and they could read it. And then when they get to when they want to ask questions, I'll pop in. But I ain't reading that all over again. If a class action suit is, they could react to it if they want to. If the class action suit is filed against Bricks and Mini Dicks, would you consider them joining? I believe you are doing the right thing, protecting your sanity and family from the suing at this. Yeah, like there's not much. If they do a class action, I don't think there's like much they could do against me. Like I could just lose the class action lawsuit, but yeah. Again, there's some things cooking that's not in the legal route, but like for me to get information, to get information from these guys in terms of like they have all the proof of my story. That's what sucks because again, I didn't know that I was gonna have to record them up until the point of like them screwing me over. So since they have all the proof, I've requested it before in the past, never got anything. Till this day, never got their inventory list that they did. And they have all the recorded phone calls. They have all the transcripts, all the emails, all the Slack messages. So if I have that, dude, you guys would have a freaking field day with it. I can do like a 30-hour stream, 50-hour stream explaining all that stuff, showing you guys, and man, it would be insane. The things they did, it would be freaking insane. Yeah. Again, just to end it here, unless you guys got more questions, feel free to ask. Like when they hired Carl, 2 months down the 2 to 3 months after they hired Carl, right? Josh and Brandon, he called me into the office once. He's like, hey, I want to talk to you, man. I'm like, hey, what's going on? He's like, I don't know if I was supposed to see this, but I'm looking at the transcript of your phone call with Josh and with Brandon and with corporate. I'm like, and I just looked at him. I'm like, mm-hmm. He's like, this is freaking brutal. Like what they did to you. And I'm like, you're right. And I don't want to put you in a position where you have to take sides. He's like, look, I have to do what they say because they're my boss. But I'm on your side, man. And yeah, that sucks. The One Genius, welcome. If this is your first time, welcome. Bam sucks for what they did to you. Thank you. They do suck. They left me literally with nothing. I am very lucky and smart enough to make sure my house is fine, got a roof over my head and all that stuff. So it sucks. They left me with nothing. To the point I had to sell my Nintendo 64 for Christmas gifts. My precious Nintendo 64. Do you know of any other stories Josh and Brandon were involved with other than yours? Eugene and Salem. I have to think about that. You should probably look into the Eugene location. I believe that's the first. It might be a different location. There might be 2 Eugene locations, but I believe Eugene was the first Bricks Minifigs ever, before even the McNeffs came in. No, Carl was awesome. They didn't know him before. Carl, like me and Carl still talk. Carl by the end hated Josh and Brandon. Need info. How many franchisees did they take over? Hostile store owners, LOL. Any other court details? Get together. Need human power to win. I know a few others. I know some that it was legit. The hostile takeover was legit. That's something that people like really need to understand. Like some of the hostile takeovers that you'll read about were actually legit. People were doing screwed up stuff. Okay. But again, like look at my ex-employees interview where he talked about like what the guy did was definitely illegal, definitely wrong, but he understood why he made those decisions. He understood why he made those decisions because corporate doesn't really help. But guys, that's all for today. That's all for tonight. I just don't want like the live stream just to end abruptly. But regardless, thanks everybody for your support. Thanks for being here. The donations, the super chats, you guys have no idea how much that helps. You have no idea. Like my wife is happy about me on YouTube now, and it's paying off. You know, she's like, "Hey, you making money? Go in the garage and don't come out." But truly, like just even watching and commenting, thank you for being here. And you guys have a fantastic night. You know, I will be here. Maybe I'll be here tomorrow night. I don't know. I got work and everything. I'll definitely pop in a stream if I can. Super R. What's a super R? Oh, super. Okay, gotcha. Happy birthday, little girl. I hope you have. She's my princess. She's my princess. Yo, back with the cow. How's Chick-fil-A doing? Doing good? Hope it's doing good. Good night, everybody. Good night. Thank you. She will have a wonderful birthday. She's the best. She really is the best. She's so funny. Okay, good night, everybody. I'm out. Goodbye.